There was a lot of talk yesterday about the leaked Danish text. I think it's important to note that the big discussions among negotiators about the Danish text actually happened before yesterday. That the big fights around the Danish text happened last year at meetings in last week at meetings here in Copenhagen, and that in a sense that text and the discussion around it is a thing of the immediate past and not of the immediate future. I think it's important to note that the text was an attempt to try and come up with a result. I think it was flawed in many serious ways, but I think where we are right now is that that text is put on a shelf. We're not looking at it right now. What's happening right now is that we're looking at the negotiation texts, which have been worked on for a long, long time and which need a lot of more work before they are ready for any kind of adoption at this meeting. And I think that is what we can focus on now, and I think that is where we are at this point in the negotiations. Thank you.
What I want to communicate and convey to you is that this text, the Danish text, is an extremely dangerous document for developing countries. It is a rejection of the fact that the UNFCCC is the only legitimate forum for conducting negotiations by parties to the convention. So it is the usual divide and rule. The vulnerable states then are offered through the text and through the circle of commitments and are enticed with the notion of fast-track financing. But embedded and wrapped in this fast track is a coup, a Bretton Woods takeover of the UNFCCC. And of course, this is all aimed at preserving and advancing developed countries' economic dominance and supremacy. Is this the end of multilateralism? I doubt. A balanced deal has to be based on what developing countries are asking and what the developed countries are asking. We have to find a middle way. And the middle way will not be served by suspension of the negotiations. And that's why G77 is of the opinion, largely, that we have to commit to negotiations to the last minute and second of this conference.
Thank you. Margaret Ryan with Clean Skies News. Ambassador Lumumba just talked about the Danish text as short-circuiting the UNFCCC process. He was very negative, of course, towards it. Do you feel that the texts in circulation now have been, in fact, short-circuiting the negotiation process?
Well, prior to this UNFCCC meeting, the Danish government organized a lot of consultations. They've been going on throughout the year. And they also organized a consultation with a limited group of countries immediately before this session. And in fact, Mr. Lumumba was one of the people that attended that informal session. At that informal session, several texts were circulated as a way of stimulating discussion. All of those texts are now off the table. The contact groups are working. They've been instructed very clearly to work towards formal decision texts in a party-driven, transparent process that I hope will deliver the strong outcome on climate change that we're all looking for.